what I'm going to talk to you, few minutes with you is that how to include persons with disability and how do we provide that equality and equity for persons with disability. So, I want to touch upon two major aspects of including persons with disability. How can we make inclusion possible? The two main things that I want to talk about. There are many, but due to time constraint, two. One is about the power of solutions and how solutions play a role in including persons with disability, and second is about inclusive leadership. So, what I am going to do is actually I am going to talk you through my journey and also the experiences that I have gained working with the beautiful organization that I am working with, Enable India. At Enable India, we work for economic independence and dignity of persons with disability. So, yes, to start with, as I told you that I have a condition called glaucoma and corneal dystrophy by birth. What it means is that I was okay to move around and recognize colors and all that, but I couldn't read and write on my own because I don't have the focus vision. So, I used to depend on my friends and I used to depend on my parents, especially my mother, to read out books. So, that is how I studied throughout my career. So, I will get there. But one of the things that used to trouble me was when I was growing up is I am a great fan of cricket. I mean, obviously, I don't know how many of you are follow cricket here. Yeah? We have many? Many. Okay, wonderful. So, I am with you then. Okay, so I used to follow cricket, and those days we did not even have a television at home. So, I used to depend on the newspaper to know the score. Now, what used to happen is when my mother had to read out to me news. So, she used to read out when all her daily work at home is over in the night. So, if I want to follow a test match, day 1 gets over, the next day paper comes, I do not even know the score, and I have to wait for that day 2 to get over because my mother could only read to me towards the end of the day. That means I am actually accessing news that is already outdated because the second day would have happened already, right. So, that used to trouble me. I was just thinking, what do I do? How do I actually do things when I want to do things? I want to read paper now, I should be able to read paper now. So, that used to trouble me, and I was okay, I do not know what to do, and like any other kid, I had gone to school and all that. But the story changed when I actually I went to University of Hyderabad in Hyderabad, which is one of the reputed universities in India. So, I did a masters in English there. So, when I was studying there, I was again depending on my friends, and I have a lot of good friends who used to read out for me. So, one day we were asked to read Vikram Seth's book. How many of you know the Vikram Seth writer? And you must be knowing The Suitable Boy, the biggest book, the fat book. We used to use in the hostel room to kill mosquitoes, and it is very effective. Huh? I mean, you could try out, because I am sure in your engineering you have a lot of bulky books, and they are really good to either hit your friends or to kill mosquitoes. So, we used to do that. So, we were asked to read this Vikram Seth's book, and I went to friend 1. Sorry Moses, my voice is not really good. Okay. So, he couldn't read out. Then I went to somebody else. Somebody said, look, I am not even planning to come to class, so I won't read it. So, the story is that nobody could read out to me because it is bulky, big book. Somebody had to read out, their voice would functionally will no longer be able to use because it is big book. So, what happened was that kept me again, choice. How can I do things when I want to do? Now, how can I do things how I want to do? And that kept me, that made me to search for alternatives. And that is how I came across this organization called Enable India, and I learned computers there. And today I say, of course, I am working now, I am heading a big team, Enable Vision, but what I realized was computers or technology or solutions or eyes for persons with vision impairment, to be very specific, because that gave me freedom to read, write, because I use computer, I use mobile now with anything that you do. I'm active on social media, but though I'm not Facebook because that's out of choice. So, lot of things. I'm able to do the things the way you do. So, that came from solutions. So, today the first point that I want to talk to you about, how these solutions make difference in persons with disability, and why I am talking to you is that you as an engineer have a power to make such solutions. So I'm actually very excited inside, because I'm actually talking to two sets of people here, because one is engineers who can make, but also you are the future of the leadership, your future generation of the leaders. So I'm very happy. So as I said, in my life, the solutions changed, the way I was actually depending on people to now I actually take care of a lot of things, because my wife, she's also from a small town and she doesn't like doing money transactions and all that. So all that work is on me now. So to do either money transaction or investment, or to book a movie ticket or a flight ticket, anything that is possible now, right, with the screen reading technology and solutions. So I want to give you some more examples, with the experience that I have from Enable India. So I think it's around 2007 or 4, that period, when one of the oil and gas company came to us and said, hey, we want to hire persons with disability. And we did the job analysis. Job analysis is nothing but just analyzing the job and seeing whether the job is, the job is feasible for persons with disability or not, and if so, what kind of persons with disability can fit into that role. So we looked at that role and we said, hey, in a petrol pump, what is the main job? Filling petrol. Yes, filling petrol is the main job. And I said, hey, how can we place a person with disability there? And we understood in some time we can place a hearing impaired. Hearing impaired, somebody who may not be able to speak here. We said, how can we make them work in this environment? The company said, hey, how is that possible? Because they will not be able to interact with the customers. So we understood the challenge there is that, yes, but we understand what is the communication that is required at a petrol pump. Do we talk about demonetization there? Or do we talk about elections? What do we talk about at a petrol pump? Absolutely. So what all we need is that how much you need, what do you need gas, petrol, whatever, how much you need, would you pay by cash, card, whatever. So we create a simple wipeable board which says, hey, I am a person with hearing impairment. Please communicate to me by interacting with this board. Do you want petrol, gas, how much? Do you want to pay by card or this? So this simple solution opened up the job. So in my life, it changed my life, but here the solutions can also open up jobs, and which is not otherwise possible, because with a hearing impairment, it's not possible for somebody to work in a petrol pump unless this small solution that we came up. And the solution is simple, no technology, no nothing. It's just a simple solution that opened up job, and that company started hiring persons with disability across their chain of petrol pumps. So that again leads to widening choices, because when I was growing up, all that I was told by my teachers was, hey Moses, you don't even sing, because I'm really scared of singing in my own bathroom. So I never used to sing. My teacher used to come to my parents and say, hey, your son doesn't even sing, what will he become? Because choices for persons with vision impairment, that point of time, very, very limited. Today, people, organizations like Enable India has opened up as many as 272 job roles for persons with disability, and out of which 183 different job roles for persons with vision impairment, somebody like me. So that's a huge choice, right? So the solutions help in opening up jobs. Solutions, change people. So we also look at, let me give an example. If you make a solution that is actually useful for persons with disability, it also useful for across the other segments of the society. Let me give you a small example. How many of you seen ramps? Yeah. Now, if there is a good ramp near an ATM, obviously person who is on the wheelchair can use that ATM, correct? But tell me, who else could also can benefit of that? Come on, thinking, morning, yes, yeah, yes, perhaps senior citizens who would need that little help to get on to this one, or somebody who is pregnant ladies, or somebody who is feeling weak. I mean, we don't need to have a permanent disability to make use of these solutions, because maybe you are feeling little tired and you just wanted to walk on the ramp rather than climbing some dozen of steps, right? So solutions, when you actually make them inclusive, when you make them for persons with disability, would also impact larger society. So that's that's about, so I will actually get to the video a little later to show you how with solutions, how persons with disability can actually work with the dignity and equality. So, I will get there, but my second point today is about inclusive leadership. If we want to increase inclusion, we need to have more and more inclusive leaders. And who are those inclusive leaders? Number one, who is somebody who is actually passionate about solving problems. Somebody who says, hey, if there is a challenge here, I have an opportunity to grow. Somebody who looks at challenge as a great opportunity to create solutions is an inclusive leader, and I believe most of you as an engineers will have that opportunity. Don't shy away from challenges that you see. Every challenge that you see is an opportunity to create something, a game changer for the society. So, number two is somebody who would take the community along, somebody who would actually understand what is required rather than what he or she thinks is the right thing. Let me give an example. Once we were having a conversation like this, and somebody said, hey, how would a visually impaired put a toothpaste on the toothbrush? And yes, oh wow, I mean, it's a great challenge. How would people with vision impairment do this? So, somebody said, engineers like you, wow, let's have a Bluetooth connectivity, just zoom from in the paste to, the tube to brush, it should go zoom. And there were a lot of solutions like that people are discussing. And somebody said in the audience with a vision impairment said, look, I just take the paste into my mouth. I don't need any of these solutions. So, the leader is somebody who will actually take people along, saying that, hey, this is what I am thinking may be required, but can I first check whether this is required at all? So, these are the three major things that you need to remember as an inclusive leader. Make sure that you don't run away don't run away from challenges, but take every challenge as an opportunity. Two is somebody who take people along and look at taking people along as much as possible to ask questions. So, for example, when you work with persons with vision, persons with disability, you may not know everything. You may not know how to talk to, whether you need to help or not. The simple thing is to ask whether if that person needs help, right? So, similarly, what also, one other thing that you as a leader need to do is embrace or seek similarities and respect differences. Respecting differences is a great thing, because if the whole world is one way, then we don't need a lot of innovations, and because there is a different needs, we need different innovations. So, respect that difference and also seek commonality, because if you have to work in a social context, you should be able to identify yourself with that person, so that your social interaction can be improved. Otherwise, if I am standing as a visually impaired, you may not look like you, as in the eye. My eyes may look different. If you don't seek, hey, he is also a human being, he is also somebody who can talk. So, unless you seek that similarity with me, you will not be able to socialize with me.